Spox are a leading UK and now global company providing custom brand kits, whether that is clothing or socks. They are with you every single step of the way by bringing your idea to light. They exclusively work with fitness communities, business communities in the UK and worldwide. To check out everything that they do, head over to www.spox.uk. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Master Your Life Beyond the Boardroom. I am your podcast host, Luke Beastor. We're in the studio in Nottingham today with a guest that, well, let me put it this way. I think you're going to be quite surprised in not only how he manages his time, but actually the side hustles. I've sort of named it and titled it as a multi-side hustler around his employed role. We're going to delve deep into that. But before I actually introduce him, you guys know from the introductions, I do like to know the guests, but myself and Dom, we actually connected via social media in the gyms years ago. And we sort of followed each other's journeys and paths. And he's come along to one of our workshops as well. Very entrepreneurial, got that fight in his belly to go after his dreams. And I think this is the most important thing here that we're going to tap into, go deep into, is what it actually takes. And knowing that it's not an instant thing. It takes time. He's been hustling now for quite not a massive amount of time, but quite some time on what he's passionate about, and he's sort of really going, I'd say, definitely all in on achieving his dreams, and we've got to respect that. But I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to welcome him in. He's a great guy. This is going to be a great episode. Dom, welcome to the podcast.
Oh, well, thank you for having me. Good to be here.
Well, we were just saying beforehand as well. This is your actual first podcast experience.
Yeah, never done one before. Yeah.
That's mental. So obviously we had chatted. I mean, we've got to go back. It must have been about 5-6 months ago when we sort of booked this in, wasn't it?
Yeah, if not, even if
probably
not,
longer.
Even if not longer, yeah.
Yeah. So, what did you think then? I mean, I'm just curious as well, like being the host. Like, what did you think about being a guest on a podcast? Was it something that you thought about, or was it just like, oh, I'll just give it a go? Or
well, it's kind of like a bit of both. Where you kind of think about it as like, it's something that I feel like with the line of work that I'm trying to get into will probably be become apparent, become more frequent as well.
Yeah.
But it's something that I thought, well, I've got to go on, I've got to do it, I've got to try, and it's one of those things that you learn through trying, don't you? You learn through experience, and just go on and talk and share your story and just have a good time, innit?
Yeah, have a good time, and like I say, share your story. So this is great then, because obviously this space today, in this hour, we are going to share your story. People are going to get to know who you are as a person and what these side hustles are, what you do day to day. So just for the audience sort of tuning into this episode, let us know a little bit about what it is that you're currently doing as an employed role, and then sort of the multi-side hustles that you're getting into, mate. Yeah, share that.
Okay. So my normal day life, I suppose, is just a normal office job. I work in performance fire doors, so it's probably as boring as you can get, really.
Well, I don't know. Some people must love fire doors, but for you, obviously, it's not.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's one of those. It's a good job. There's a big market for it. It's secure. So obviously, it's nice having that paycheck month to month.
Of course.
I'm grateful for the position that I'm in, because then that allows me to, pump money into the things that I actually want to build myself.
Okay.
The things I actually want to take full time and then actually grow with. So obviously, aside from my normal job, I do primarily two main things. One being, YouTube and social media when it comes to self-improvement and mental health. That's with my Stoic Dom accounts. That's TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. And then the other thing I do is my clothing business, Impious Vision, which actually derived from the things I originally did on Instagram. Got an Impious Vision Instagram page for dark artwork. So kind of sharing it's almost like people's darkest thoughts and darkest moments being created onto a canvas. And then I kind of put a bit of a twist on it, where they would create these things, they would create some, almost like disturbing images. They would create these disturbing images, almost like, artworks and paintworks. And then I would share their stuff on my page with a positive caption. So kind of creating that yin yang effect of saying wherever there's dark, there's always light. And there's always wherever you are, there's always a good opportunity for things to improve. And it was all about just, positivity, spreading the good message, helping people out, saying, if you're going through tough times, it's going to get better. If you're feeling like this right now, maybe this is actually what you're going through, and maybe that will help you out to understand that. And over time, it's grew to like 174,000 at the minute. It's reaching
Epic.
like, I don't know, about 1 million people a month, really.
Yeah, that's
So
so
it's
good.
got some pretty good reach on there.
Yeah.
And over the years, I've had so many comments and DMs of like how, I've helped them out. They enjoy jumping on there to like have a read. Some people even saying they just jump on Instagram every day just to see if I've posted.
Yeah.
There's other things as well that, that I've gone deep in conversation with people that, and I've helped them out and they've said that. And it's just awesome.
Yeah, it's all kind of compounded. I love the fact that you sort of shared your role at the minute. It's allowed you to kind of invest in these hustles, but you're using that money well. You're investing it smartly. You've got a couple of angles that you're delving into. Obviously, social media, content creator, obviously self-improvement. You're transforming people's lives through the artwork. I like the spin on, like, you could look at a disturbing image and it could be deemed as maybe a negative, dark, but then you've, like, say, turned it to a light, positive sort of feel. Where did this all sort of stem from? I know you said that just because I know this is a common question that I get and what we get from the listeners and the watchers, viewers, should I say, is where do I start? So I'd love to know, where did it all start for you?
When I was in a position where I needed help but didn't know how to get it.
Okay.
So it was just me being in a bad place mentally, really. Didn't know what to do. Kind of felt like I'm starting to grow up. I don't know where I'm going. Don't know what I'm doing. I just felt like a bit of a bit behind, but like a failure, really, in a sense. And then I don't know. It was weird. It was like this light bulb moment. Something clicked, and I was like, you know what? I want to help people because I don't want anyone to feel like I ever did back in the day. And that was kind of the beginning, where that was when the dark art page started, and obviously then that turned into the clothing, because I thought then people can be part of the page, I suppose, but then being within the community of the clothes, they can actually feel like they're a part of it because they're wearing the artwork, they're expressing themselves, because it's almost like it's kind of like the person that eats lunch alone. It's kind of like that feeling in it when you just kind of like left out, the outcast that never really belonged. That's who Impious is for, because that's who I was.
Okay.
So that's kind of like, so that's obviously turning Impious Vision into that, and then obviously that's kind of like one aspect of it all, and then the other aspect was thinking, well, how can I make an impact to to like really help people, and that's where the whole self-improvement and the whole mental health things came about with Stoic Dom.
This is really good then. So obviously it started from you being in a bit of a low place, wanting to reach out for help. Obviously it's quite a common theme that I think it's a brilliant theme where ideas and things start to come from them, they grow, and I like the fact of like the feeling part of something as well as being part of something. I think that's a really good sort of piece there, is you had created it off the back of something that you wanted to give back to others that you didn't probably have access to, and you're letting people know that if you are somebody that feels an outcast or feels you can't be part of any sort of circle, well, here's a gateway, here's an open door for you to become a part of what we're creating. Just so the audience sort of feel a little bit about this, this low place that you was in. Where did that come from for you? Like, what got you into that low place, and then what was the sort of action steps that helped you get out of it? I know you did the business, but I just wondered if there was anything else.
If I'm honest, I can't fully quite remember like what led up to. I just kind of almost had this like point of realization where I've never really belonged.
Okay.
I've never really been part of this or that. I just kind of floated about, and then I just kind of didn't do anything like proactive. Anything kind of like towards my future. I just kind of did what I needed to do. I was like this. I just followed the rules, and I just went home. And I don't know. One day just kind of like just clicked, and I was like, no, I'm not doing anything myself.
How old was you at that point?
17.
So at 17, you felt you couldn't. You just felt lost. You felt like you don't fit in anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And what was going? I know it's hard to remember because maybe you might pick up a bit. Think, actually, yeah. What was going through your mind at 17 to feel that way?
I think. I mean, obviously, with how I am, with trying to like be good, trying to be the very best I can possibly be, like kind of came from pretty quickly. But at the time, I just wanted to prove to myself that, I can become better to
Mm.
fit in. Because I
Right.
think it's almost like I felt like I wasn't good enough. So this whole idea of you're just not good enough to belong. That's why you're not cool enough to hang out with them. You're not good enough at sports to do this. You're not good looking enough to be, to be surrounded by girls or whatever. And
Right.
it's one of those things where I just kind of thought I was just this nobody. Like I don't know. Obviously when you look back at it now, it's just it's a bit of a daft thing really.
Yeah, of course.
But it's completely fine to think that at the time because you don't know any better, do you?
No.
You don't know. And obviously then, like I said, like they just had that moment when I was like, yeah, I need to turn it around. And then kind of like 17 years old, a little bit after that, whatever it is that happened in my head, I just kind of started trial and error in all sorts of side hustles, and I did about 50 things before I finally decided to hone in on what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I mean, there might even just be people
Mm-hmm.
coming into this today, Dom, that probably can relate to that.
Yeah.
Maybe they've got the daughter or this son right now
Mm-hmm.
that is that age,
Yeah.
16, 17, and they're probably saying as well, they're lost.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
feel very low. They're not
Mhm.
really sure on where to go. What would, just from your experience of coming out of that
Mm-hmm.
tough place, and obviously now you're in you're in a better place. You've
Mhm.
obviously done a lot of work though as
Yes.
well. What would you say, whether it's somebody watching this that maybe
Mhm.
is 16, 17, or a parent, or somebody that's maybe going through something similar,
Yeah.
what would you say to them that would be a great starting point
Mhm.
to help them improve,
Yeah.
mentally or physically or
Yeah.
both?
Mhm. Less social media, more connection.
Right.
Get out there and do. It's one of those things where, like, realistically, social media is like a poison, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a million things you can watch. One person's going to say, oh, you've had a tough day. Oh, that's okay. You just relax, put your feet up. One person's going to, then the next video, it's going to be like, oh, you've had a good day. Who cares how you feel? Get on with it.
Mm.
And there's never like a one size fits all answer. But one
Yeah.
thing that will always work is just going out there and doing, because when we work towards something, we just occupy ourselves, not to, just forget about that, but learn about ourselves, and like then it kind of gives you that sense of accomplishment. Do something you've just been wanting to do that was on your mind. Force yourself to go and do it, no matter how big or small.
Mm.
Just forcing yourself into a situation where you're thinking, normally I wouldn't do this, but now I am. Sometimes is enough to create that momentum in order to just, find yourself or find something that will give you this sense of purpose.
Yeah, I like that. I really like that. Straight away, bang, bang, bang. Like shots, less social media, more connection.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, as well, and again, and obviously taking action. So from your sort of journey so far, I'm sure there's been moments, and I'm sure you're not afraid to sort of be open about it. Is that there's probably been moments where maybe you've dropped into the trap of social media a little bit, and maybe you're a bit wavered off path or wherever you wanted to go. What's from this? What would you say has been your best, if you can recall a moment of action that you've taken so far on your side hustle journey that has been the best return of investment for you? If there's one thing that you can remember.
In what sense?
So, like, if you'd like say, I was in this place, I decided to take this action, and I never thought this would come of it, but this is sort of come as an outcome. Like people when they fear taking action, but then sometimes that fear can get the better of them. But if they just go out and do it anyway, it could be the best bit of action that they've taken.
Okay. I would honestly say reading Mark Manson's book of to stop giving a fuck.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I've read that
because
book. Yeah,
it's because obviously when people look at the cover page, they think, oh well, so what, you're gonna be a dick then? Well, no. It's
Yeah.
just that you choose to care about things that actually matter to you. Because obviously, if someone might look at me and think, oh, why would you ever put tattoos on your neck? What an idiot. It's like, well, all right, fair enough, thank you.
yeah.
I don't care. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like I don't. You clearly choose to care about this, but you don't care about the fact that your last project has failed, and instead of you figuring out how you can improve on that next time, you decide to take out your anger or disappointment on other people. Just stop caring about what other people think, because chances are as well, you got to ask yourself this. Let's say last time you went out shopping, or you went for a walk, or you went on a date, whatever. How many people did you judge that day? You didn't.
No.
No one judged you either. So why are people so focused on what other people are thinking and saying, when realistically they don't even do that themselves? So there's that really big question. It's like, ask yourself, does anyone actually care? in the nicest way possible, obviously. And they don't, because everyone's so self-absorbed in whatever it is that they're doing at the minute. You might as well do whatever you want to do, because people are not going to pay attention anyway.
No, I agree with that. I think I've realised you do get in your own head.
Mhm.
It gets in your way about
Yeah.
what it is that you want to do, and yeah, like you say, people are self-absorbed. They don't care as much as probably you think, but again, you think they do, or they're gonna say these certain things, like what you just said about the neck tattoo. I mean, yeah, there is going to be people that obviously troll and say certain things. It's part of life, but again, it's continually moving forwards from that. So for you, with obviously setting up these businesses, what would you say has been the hardest thing for you so far in this journey? What have you struggled with?
Initially, it was the showing up consistently.
Okay.
Because you gotta, it's almost like with a full-time job, your day-to-day is going to be from Monday to from the morning to afternoon, all week. You've got a chunk of time that's gone. Then you still need to get your training in. You still got to eat well. Still got to sleep enough. And then in between all of that, now you got to figure out a time. Figure out a schedule or a way, a system where you can create content, post content, plan content. And it's like all these different things you've got to do and stay on top of and maintain. Obviously, the initial bit was tough, but once you kind of figure out a system that works for you, that's when it starts to get easier, because you create this flow, create this something you can follow. And now that I've been doing it a little while, I'm actually in a point where I'm sometimes thinking I've actually got a bit too much spare time.
Right, because you're quicker, aren't you? You've got systems, you've got more things in place. Yeah.
Hence why when we spoke about earlier, now I feel like it's a good time to implement the next stage that I want to do for Stoic Dom, which I'm not going to share because that was just for you.
I know.
So
thank you for that. Yeah. No, I like that. But you've done the groundwork.
Yes.
You've obviously you've had to learn from things that maybe needed tweaking.
Yeah.
But it's also important as well, just sort of picking out what you've shared there, that it is a journey, and but the consistency element helps you down the line to see where it's going. You sort of find out where it could go, or the possibilities once you've just started showing up. I think that's the hardest thing, isn't it?
It is
showing up.
It's the beginning, because obviously now, a year and a half later, over 1,000 videos posted. So that's.
And that's an achievement.
Work,
yeah, that's a flex. I mean, let's be real. I mean, all right, people go, well, how much money you made from that? But it's not always about that, is it?
It's not about the money. It's what I've learned, though.
Yeah.
Is because, can anyone else say they've done something consistently for, 300 days? 1,000
Probably
days?
not, no.
They probably can't. And, that alone, in my opinion, no matter what it is, whether that's you practicing an instrument, playing football, or running a social media account, if you stay consistent for a very, very long time, whether you succeed or not, that's still fucking awesome, because that, it teaches you things, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It shapes you, helps you. That mental integrity you get from that, from just being like, I can't be asked, but you do it anyway.
Yeah. So if you was to look at like Dom a year and a half ago then, as a side hustler and building a business, the dream where you want it to go, the vision of Impious, the Stoic Dom, to the Dom now, what's been the biggest shift?
Being from essentially turned from being a idea generation beast into a doing beast.
Yeah, I like it.
Literally, because I had absolutely no problem thinking up on things and figuring out, this would be cool. Oh, that's
a great idea.
That's a good idea, and then I never do. Whereas now I'm like thinking, okay, this is a good idea. Can I do this? Can I not? And it's like, it's immediately, like, don't get me wrong, my brain is still, constant, going. It just doesn't stop. But now when you get an idea, you immediately also ask yourself different questions. Is it actually worth it? Will it actually be as good as you think it is in 5 months' time? Will it actually be, can you actually implement it into your routine now?
Okay.
Will this actually benefit you in any way? What's this going to do for you? Because it might sound cool, but it won't actually do much. And it's like you just immediately just ask yourself these different questions. And obviously the sheer amount of effort I put in on a daily basis, and that's something that I will, not boasting about, but that's just something that I will, always be proud of myself for.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that I can show up regardless of how I feel.
Yeah, I think this is good then. Obviously, discipline's the word that screams out here rather than, like you say, the motivation. Obviously, that's great that you've sort of distinguished the difference. Idea generation to just idea beast to doing beast. I think that's brilliant. That you got to use that. I swear down. That's so good. But just You know, for people though, because I think this might be a good question to ask you,
Mm-hmm.
just, you know, be really transparent. Did you feel though when you first started out, you was kind of winging it in a way, or did you always have a bit of a plan, or?
100%. Just free falling it. It's just you just jump into it and you think, okay, I'm just gonna do this because I learned it on that video, and then you watch another video and you think, oh, I'll do that instead.
Yeah.
And it's like you don't actually get much done because you're just kind of bouncing between different things all the time.
Yeah.
And obviously over time, you start to think, oh, actually, you know what? I quite enjoyed this. This actually worked really well. Oh, actually, if I do this instead, it'll save me an extra half an hour. And then you start to pick things up by just bouncing back and forth between different things. I think it's very good to just wing it, just go for it.
Yeah.
Because that is the process. That's the start of the process, isn't it? Just put yourself out there and just learn. Because then the more you learn, the more you can hone in on the things you actually need. And then, once again, perfect, publish, perfect, publish and perfect, publish and perfect. And then eventually you come to your groove and...
Yeah, that's great. You're in your flow, you're in your groove. I like the fact that you openly admit about winging it, because I think, again, that fear of most people not having a plan or feeling like everything has to be perfect before starting. You know, we know that perfection doesn't really exist, especially in business. You know, you've got to, just like you say, show up, start, learn, and the sort of path will become more clear. And you know, you're a clear example of that. Was there any moments, or has there been any moments recently, or when you started, that you've wanted to quit, give up, throw the towel in, probably think, you know, this is not for me anymore?
Yes, actually. So it's like with my YouTube specifically, where my views were slowly on the rise, just up and up and up and up, and then just out of nowhere, I felt like the things I were doing were just getting higher quality, but my views just started dropping quite a lot. And if anything, week to week, the views were getting less and less and less.
Right.
And I was just thinking to myself, well, what am I doing wrong?
Okay.
And then I tried to be as strategic as I possibly could, thinking like, let's look at it, rewatch it. You know, what are you doing that's different to, let's say, 2 months ago when your views were tripled or quadrupled?
Okay.
And realistically, I was just thinking to myself, there's not. If anything, I'm making things, trying to make things better.
Okay.
So objectively, I was getting better feedback as well. So then I thought, that was like, I'm thinking, this is just so soul crushing to put so much like time, effort, and money really that I don't really get back because of it doesn't earn anything at the minute.
Yeah.
You know, for it to just flop. But then I thought, no, this is just a game. You're gonna have ups and downs. You're gonna just have to push through. And now, well, after a couple months later, my views are slowly starting to rise up again. So it's just like that pattern, isn't it? Because like when you
non-linear,
exactly. When you look at a graph of, you know, progress or investment or whatever it is, you know, when you actually zoom in day to day, it's like this, isn't it?
Yes.
But when you zoom out over like 5 years' time,
it's
a graph that goes from
but
down
it's
here all the way
like
up.
that, but it does increase.
Yeah, so when you zoom in, it's constantly up and down.
Yeah.
But over the course of time, as long as you actually do put in the work and stay consistent, it just grows.
Yeah, that's a good sort of frame for people if they are here listening and watching back, that they're thinking, I do want to start this business. But again, when things get tough, like you say, you see them viewings going down, or you see that most people aren't maybe liking or commenting on your work, and you go, oh, it's like, it's not working now, is it? But you again, that discipline aspect of just showing up even when you don't feel like it, because now you're not feeling like it because you're looking at it and thinking, people aren't watching what I'm doing, so what's the point? But then you've kept on going forward, and it's kind of curved back up again. And when you've zoomed out, where did you find this mindset to be able to tell yourself that in those moments?
I think it's just from the sheer years of just constantly going and going and going.
Right.
Part of it being business, part of it being fitness, part of it being just, well, life in general, really. You know, just not everything's going to be sunshine and rainbows, right? So you have to look at everything in the fact of, it might go well, it might not. But even when it doesn't go well, there are still things you can take away from it. You know, and when it does go well, you actually take away less, don't you? Because you've done it and it worked. Okay, that's brilliant. And obviously you still learn some things, okay, thinking, okay, this is good. But realistically, it's the lower moments that teach you, don't they? And they're the things that show you on what to do and what to continue with. But I think it's just honestly just over the years of just trying. It's just showing up for myself and just telling myself, no, you can, you will, and then you do. You know, and I think, it's just generally just from just constantly going at it, like just staying consistent.
Yeah. I mean, there's a definite theme coming from this. Dom, and obviously I know you quite well now, and you've got so much conviction. You can tell you've got like you said earlier when we was having a coffee and stuff, like unwavering belief in what it is that you're creating for people
100%.
that want to come a part of what your vision is that they are going to transform.
Yeah.
And it is going to grow to it, and that is brilliant. I love that. I think
Yeah.
it's the confidence aspect, but it's actually you believe it, and a lot of people they don't believe in themselves. You know, it's the reason they don't start. It's the reason that they miss out on things that they'll look back on in regret.
Yes.
So if you were sat opposite somebody now, and maybe it feels like they're in this room with us today, and they was like, God, man, you know, you tell you've done the work, you know, like, it's brilliant what you're doing. It's great. Obviously, you've quite openly said that it's not like making you enough money to sort of leave your job behind. You know, you're still in the hustle phase, right? But you're very open about that. What would you say to them if they sat there and they're going, I just don't believe myself, Dom. Like, I've got, and maybe they share the idea with you, and you're like, go for it, man, go for it.
Yeah.
What else would you say to them that could help them push a bit closer towards it?
Firstly, I would ask them, is it actually that you don't believe in yourself, or is it because of the people around you and the surroundings that you're in? Because there's also a matter of, you might believe in yourself, but your belief is crushed down by the people you're surrounded with, the people you speak to, the people that you ask opinions for. Because realistically, personally, with all due respect and without, saying, I wouldn't ask for an opinion of someone that doesn't know, that is not an expert in like a field. For example, it's like, regarding videography, I wouldn't ask my dad about this.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would ask to someone that actually deals with cameras on a day-to-day basis. So when they have an idea, and they think, oh, you know what, this is actually quite good. I'm actually been really good at this. I'm actually done this like for a few years in my life. I think I could make something of this. And then they go speak to their mates about it, who has absolutely no interest in that, who has absolutely no vision in something like that. And they're like, oh yeah, whatever. Well, it's not you, it's not your belief, it's the belief you're taking away from others and instilling it within yourself. You know?
So it's like that external noise.
Yeah.
And it's like you're a sponge.
Yeah.
You're just sort of soaking it up.
Because the more opinions you take in,
right,
the less and less and less your own opinion becomes, doesn't it? Because
you're talking yourself out of it.
Exactly, yeah. Because you're essentially using everyone else's ideologies and beliefs to form your own. No, you quite clearly have an idea. Make it happen. Try, and if it fails, then so what? Like we spoke about it before. There's a chance people are not even watching anyway. Yeah. So it's not like people can even know you failed.
Yeah. No, it's true. Yeah. So did you find that was something you had to change, your people around you to sort of help you, or was that something that you did?
I did naturally cut away from a lot of people. Yes. Okay. Because don't get me wrong, it's not that I had any problem with the people. Absolutely nothing wrong, nothing against them. Just they weren't going where I wanted to go.
Right.
They were happy and content with doing what they were doing, and that's completely fine and respectable. You know what I mean? But I needed to be surrounded by people who are on the same wavelength as me. Yeah. AKA, they are trying to build their own empires, build themselves up, build something more. And that's just what you need, I think. I think you need that, like you kind of mentioned a lot, finding your tribe.
Yes.
Being surrounded by the people that are doing the same thing as you.
So that's really good. I think I know we hear it in the business world as well. Sort of your network, is your net worth. If you see somebody that's maybe 10 steps ahead of you, it's exciting. You don't want to be the most intelligent person in the room. You want to be the smallest person in the room, but that gives you that fight to want to be around those people, because it gives you that. Because obviously, you don't set up your own business if you're wanting to seek the easy path, and the comfort. You want to be around people that have really grafted and had the highs and lows. So who has been, if there is one person in your network, or could be somebody online or a book that you've read, who's been a massive or the most influential in your work and helped you create what you create?
If I'm being perfectly honest, I think with people, I mostly have looked up to these, I don't know, I say entrepreneurs online.
Yeah.
Like, for example, Mark Manson, The Offer. Dan Coe, he's a big online personality. Chris Williamson, I love their work. I love watching their stuff, and
podcasters as well, aren't
they? They are, yeah. And it's just hearing how they've started in a sense where, like, they probably just started in a room in their house, and now they've got their own studios, their own buildings, their own this and that, and it's just so amazing to see, like, how far you can actually come if you believe in yourself and you just go for it, man. Like, I love that, and it's like, don't get me wrong, I just don't listen to everything you see online and stuff, but it's still nice to see other people doing what you want to do, and obviously they must have started somewhere.
100%.
They didn't just, they weren't just them and all of a sudden they're here.
No.
It was years and
Not
years
overnight
and years.
success, is it?
No, it's years and years and years of just grafting. It's like when Chris Williamson, for example, when he was younger, doing what he was doing, he was actually on Love Island. And then all of a sudden, then years and years later, he's like, preaching these things. And it's like, obviously, I relate with him right now. I didn't relate with him back then. Well, truth though, I didn't even know him back then.
No, I didn't.
But it just comes to show how you can change. You can do different things. You can get out of the situation you're in right now. But ultimately, it's just down to you.
It is. I think it starts with you, doesn't it? It ends with you.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, a lot of, especially when you're going after something that you're passionate about, nobody can really do it for you.
No.
Because they're not living in your body and mind. No. You've got to be able to go out and do it. So seeing these influential people around you and obviously who you look up to, what's something that you've sort of like a theme or a trend or a routine or something from those guys that you've taken away and implemented into your work? What's something that stands out to you from what you've seen those guys do?
Well, I suppose with all of them, I mean, they've all said it before, and everyone that is respectable on the internet, in my eyes anyway, has said that just show up, keep showing up.
Yeah, it's so simple, isn't it? It's hard to do.
That's the thing. It's like sometimes the best advice is the simplest advice.
It's true. So true. Yeah.
Yeah, just because it's simple doesn't mean it's easy.
No,
absolutely not. Because if I just said, well, lose weight, just go to the gym 5 times a week and eat well. On paper, that sounds pretty easy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Now do it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to it when you think about it. But I genuinely believe that the simple advice is always the best.
Absolutely. Have you found then because obviously you're physically fit and stuff like that. Obviously, I know you've been doing the gym a while. Have you found that has helped and shaped who you are with the business stuff that you do? Has it given you a bit of a
100%?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In what way?
Because I carry my discipline on display.
Right.
I am disciplined. Because going to the gym for 7 years in a row isn't something you just do.
No,
it's something you live and breathe, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm this I'm this huge guy because
no.
That's not the point. But the point is that I look after myself, and I have done for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
And it's something that I will continue to do. And I do think the discipline from fitness and the gym has definitely bled into all the other aspects of my life, no matter what it may be.
This is really good because obviously we were talking about this before, and I do sort of say this a lot online, and I think especially if you're going to set up your own business and go down that route, how important it is actually to look after you. We've just been already saying, it starts with you, it ends with you. Obviously, nobody can do it for you, but it's that element of having that health and energy with you and stuff. And obviously you I think it's very clear to hear that you're very consistent. You show up, you do it when you don't even feel like it. So I'm just curious now for the guys, because obviously I'm sure they're feeling that, man, this guy, he's going for it, and you've still made like mistakes. Where has the mistakes been made? Like, what's been something that you've done in your time of building these side hustles where you've tried something and it's not really worked out, and then how you've sort of dealt with that? What helped you bounce back? I guess.
Okay. First, I would say biggest memorable mistake was when I started with the clothing brand. I invested into a marketing agency.
Okay.
And it was essentially £3,000 just completely lost.
Oh, really?
Nothing out of it. Yeah, completely nothing. Just didn't get any results, didn't get nothing.
Okay.
It is what it is. It's one of those. The way I see it, it's like, look, it could have always been worse. But it's like you always have to think, always be prepared to, you've got to be prepared to lose money, but only lose what you can afford to lose.
Yeah, calculate risk.
Yeah, and that was something I could lose. Obviously, don't get me wrong. Was I upset?
Of course,
absolutely.
Yeah, kicking the balls, that one.
Yeah. It was a bit of a kick in the teeth to just lose 3K. Over the span of like a couple of months. But it showed me a lot, and obviously it kind of opened up my eyes to that people are out there. Majority of them are out there just to make money off you, rather than to actually help you out. And that was like a really big lesson of mine, to be more calculated, research more, and also learn more about it that you want to invest in. Because if I want to invest into something, at least have an understanding of it, because then you'll be able to actually spot scams much clearer, much easier. And obviously, if they like saying, "Oh yeah, we'll do this," and you kind of think to yourself, "Why? That's not what I would do. That's not what these people do. So why would you do it this way?" I don't know. I feel like it gives you a bit more of a understanding of what it is that you're actually sinking your money into. And the other memorable one was the second launch of Impious Vision clothing, where obviously we do this in stages, where you've got 1 collection, 2 collection, 3 collection, so forth. So the second collection, I would say in general it flopped. I was not happy with the results, but that's fine. And that was because of my strategy, of my content strategy, of how we did the marketing, how I went about doing things, just in the wrong order, and it was a bit rushed, and it just wasn't polished in a sense. But then for the next one, went a lot better because I learned at that. I looked at what I did, I took that, and I thought, right, it didn't work. Why? And then that's your starting point. And then you kind of look into different sections of it, different things of it, and then you kind of try and make it better for next time.
I think this is good. The fact that you've openly shared that, I mean, look, let's be real, right? 3K is not a small amount of money. You was willing to invest it, to give it a go. Obviously, you've seen whatever agency it were, and you've, obviously got that trust to go, look, I want to take my clothing brand to this place, and they were sort of the tool for that, I guess. Didn't work out, nothing from it. Obviously, again, it gave you a lesson and I think that's another thing as well, is that people have to take these risks to learn from it, like you have, obviously. And again, you've shared one with the, the clothing launch. What, just on that then, with because I know a lot of people as well, when they start now, when they start a business, it's heavily around social media. You've got to have a social media. You've got to have, you've got to have a presence. Most people have a social media as their website, right? What has worked best for you with sort of your social media strategy or your launches to help it achieve the best results?
Behind the scenes stuff.
Okay.
The reality of it, because obviously you see, you can see glamour everywhere.
Sure.
You can see, oh look, this looks dead nice. Oh, look at this, look at that. But what you don't see is people actually sitting there holding their forehead at 12 o'clock at night, not going to sleep, even though they've got something important the following day because they're trying to figure something out. You don't see that, and I think that's what really shows people. It's like, look, I am working hard at this. I'm struggling here, but I'm making it work. I'm making it happen. And I feel like people really enjoyed the behind the scenes stuff, and just keeping it real. Just keeping it, just being yourself. Like, don't change the script just because you want to sound a bit more formal or sound a bit nicer. Just say how it is, because at the end of the day, people are gonna like you for you. If they don't, well, they don't. That's absolutely fine.
Yeah, I think this is good. Obviously, you're very clear now in a way of you're you. You're unique in your own way, and you don't really care what people think. You also know that people out there want to see who you are behind closed doors and what it is you're building. Because I know we'd spoken about this, and I think for any sort of business owner listening, it's very important that you show who you are as a person, because naturally people will, whatever it is that you're offering, will be more, well, they'll trust you more, but also they'll like you more because they know who you are. And then whatever it is you're providing, a product or a service, they're going to most likely invest in it.
People gravitate towards authenticity.
Yeah.
Don't they?
Yeah. So from obviously even with Impious and obviously Stoic Dom, if someone was to sort of look at your brands and your communities that you're building, what would you want people to sort of say about it? Or what's the sort of message that you're trying to give to these people that maybe aren't in just yet but are looking at it from the outside?
Okay. So with Stoic Dom, motivation to believe in yourself.
Okay.
That's the main thing. I want to help people believe in who they are, what they stand for, who they want to be. And with Impious, kind of like I said before, it's kind of like, this looks cool, and it's like where I want to give them a place to belong, like a community. It's like, I don't belong in this circle. That's all right. They don't matter. Join our circle instead then.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Yeah. Oh, nice. So if someone was to join or to look at Stoic Dom as an example, what's, not to try and give away everything that you do, but what is your secret sauce, your secret tool to help people believe in themselves more?
I think making them feel heard and validating how they feel. Obviously, because everybody enjoys being told, yeah, you're right. But obviously, there's an extent to that, because obviously, yeah, you're right, but sometimes you got to think, actually, here you are wrong. Obviously, and there's got to strike that nice balance of between, like, look, what you're doing here is fine, but have you actually thought about it this way?
So that's something that obviously I guess people have conversations with you about from that page, that they've got somebody there that's a human being that's helping them achieve that. Yeah, that's really good. That's really, really good. And then even with sort of like Impious as well, what do you want them to feel? I know it's like belonging, but what else do you want them to sort of feel when being a part of your community?
So very important, actually, now that I think about it, is I don't want them to feel like they have to wear a mask.
Right.
Take it off. Be yourself with me. I don't care about all these personas or niceties you've got to perform or show other people. If just be you. You know, if that's being a dick, being a crybaby, being overly loud and happy, I don't care. Just be yourself. No mask, just you.
Nice. And where do you see it going? Like, where would you want to see? If we go with Impious first, where would you want to see it going in the next couple of years?
I think Impious is more now, but more of a side project where I just post and just kind of like, just provide that little bit of daily messages to people. So realistically, hopefully, I'll just get into 200,000 followers, maybe 250, depending on how well it goes.
Yeah.
So it's just really more about that's more like a side thing that I don't particularly see, taking it in any specific direction. Just growing it.
Yeah.
And just showing up to people.
Yeah. Obviously, I know you've got a bit of a vision with the business, but for you, if you fast forward like 12 months now with your side hustles that you're doing, where do you want to be?
Ideally, working with people one-to-one.
Okay.
I would love that. Obviously, that may not be possible. Maybe that'll happen in 2 or 3 years' time.
Okay.
But that is where the vision. That's where I want it to be, where I can provide value, to groups, individuals, the masses through online, for social media, however it may be, but just providing value, providing help, and showing people that they are worth their goals, to help people believe in themselves, just all across the board.
Yeah, this is really good. So obviously, you want to transform people's lives, you want to add value. Obviously, there's a big aspect of obviously what you felt going back to when you were 17, where you didn't feel like you belonged anywhere. You had to take that sort of ownership and build this identity to where you are today, and going through a lot of personal development, I guess lots of books, resources, podcasts, even just conversations with people, like you say, cutting people out of your life, bringing new people in. For you, it's like, obviously the work now, I mean, how old are you now?
27.
27, so that's 10 years of work, obviously 7 years consistent in the gym as well. People, I mean, I know there'll be, that's admirable in itself to be able to put that work in consistently. I'll use that word, consistently.
Yeah.
So is that your dream then? That's your dream, to just coach people in a one-to-one capacity, and obviously I'm sure speak in front of groups and do that. Is that where you'd love to go?
I'd love to also improve my writing skills and write a book one day.
Really?
I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something I've kind of always thought about, but I thought there's with who I am as a person right now, and with the amount of knowledge I have, I don't think I would write something that would be impactful enough.
So you still think you're a bit early stages?
Yes.
Okay.
So I think I'm just too early in my journey in order to create that. However, I do think one day, I think it could be a thing.
Yeah, I think it.
Maybe see my book on Amazon.
Plug that one in there. Yeah. I do believe it though. I really do. I don't for one second think you can't do that. I mean, I'm sort of like same. It's learning from people and experiences where you can obviously extract and then piece it your way, to add value to people's lives. What would you say has been the sort of best? I don't want to say advice, but sort of the best thing someone said to you in your entire entrepreneurial career that has like stood out like a sore thumb, to go, I'll never forget when that person said that to me, and it's literally been a game changer?
I honestly think it just all comes back to the same thing. Like the people that I watch and try to my best to have on my feed, always the same thing. Just do it. Just show up. Just be consistent.
Nike, just do it.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Kind of,
crazy. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just the whole idea of just stop thinking, just like less thinking, more doing. Think later, because like you could publish something now and it will be subpar, but it's published. That's more than the person who hasn't pressed post. And then you take that and you think, how do I make it better?
Yeah. Yeah, how much is in your drafts? How much is in your drafts that's been deleted?
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah, but again, I think that comes back to what you said earlier. Caring too much about what other people think.
100%, yeah.
You know, that's where that sort of, that hesitation of, like say, publish, or hesitation of sending that message, or picking up the phone and having a call. Is there any sort of conversation with somebody, a friend or a family member, that you've had about this journey? You know, because again, I don't know whether you've found this. I know I talk about this quite a lot, and I've also had some of the guys who's watched these episodes. For business can be sort of a lonely place sometimes, and I guess especially for you, being employed as well. You know, to try and share that with people, that it's different worlds, different mindsets and stuff. Is there any conversation, or any sort of things you've had that's helped you along the way with that?
To be perfectly truthful, no. It's all self.
So you've been you've done quite a lot of it on your own.
Completely solo. Wow. Yeah. So obviously there's certain things that I do with other people. Yeah. But large majority of, well, I'd say like pretty much everything I learn or now stand for, I've learned myself by reading stuff. You know, like you said to yourself, the whole podcast, YouTube, and all this, just learning from other like kind of like authority figures that are already there. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because obviously, I asked that question because I know when you come along to one of our business workshops, that's what you said to me when you joined. You didn't really look at sort of what the day was. You just went, I'm coming because I want to be around more people.
Yes.
That I want to network a bit more. I want to be around people that are sort of getting after life.
Yeah. I think that's important. It's any opportunity you get to network, just go and network. I don't care how small the opportunity may seem, how good it seems, how bad it seems, just go. Because on a day, what have you lost? Maybe a couple hours out your day. Yeah. Not in the grand scheme of things, that's no big deal. No. But what you potentially could lose is a huge opportunity that could change your life. So just go. But if you don't, then well, you've 100% lost it.
Yeah, I think obviously you're very open minded in regards to opportunities. Are there any opportunities that's in the current pipeline? Are there any opportunities that you've recently been on that's opened doors for you that you'd be happy to share with the guys on this episode?
No. So for a little while now, it's just been completely static in a sense where it's just I show up every day, I put the work in. Yeah. Show up every day, put the work in, and obviously I'm hoping that through that an opportunity will arise. Yeah. But currently nothing, and it's been like that for a little while now. But once again, like we spoke, that you're gonna have those dry spells, aren't you? You're gonna have the lows.
Yeah. Plateau stages.
Yeah, where just nothing happens. Yeah. But obviously that's where people quit.
I would say I think this is these moments as well. What you say, people do quit, but they're the moments that are quite shaping for you as someone that's going after what you want. You have to go through the mundane, sometimes the boring, to be able to get to where you want to go to. Yeah. No, I think that's really good. And you know, if you could sort of go back to Dom, well, actually, I'll tell you what. When did you know in yourself as a person that you're sort of designed to be this business or an entrepreneur? When did that come to you? Like when you knew, like, I can do my own thing.
Yeah, I definitely think after a few years of just consistently trying things. Obviously, like I said, when I started when I was 17, 18, like just trialing different things. You know, first it started off with something like just writing a tech blog. I'm actually a big gamer in my spare time. So I really love my tech. You know, started doing a tech blog. That didn't go anywhere. Go into day trading. I learned about trading, investment, and stocks. You know, that didn't go anywhere. Once again, it just didn't lose any money, didn't make any money, just stopped doing it after a while. You know, then I started a bit of jewelry. Then I tried jewelry. That didn't work out again. There was just too much to it. But after a certain amount of time of just trying, I think I was like, well, clearly I want something more. I just don't know what it is yet. But the only way I'm going to find out is by trying again. Trying again, and again, and again, and again.
That's great. The fact that you've just said that, but also that you've tried these things. I didn't know that you'd done trading. I'd not known that you'd done jewelry. I'd not known that you'd done a tech blog. But it didn't work out. But that didn't stop you from trying something else.
Absolutely not. No.
So that's obviously when you knew. when you knew that you was
Yeah, yeah.
sort of capable. So how old was that? 17, 18?
I would say that was like when I was like 19, 20. That was after
Right.
after a little bit of time, I was
Yeah,
just trying stuff.
yeah.
So, but obviously just trying things. But at the time, I wasn't trying things properly. I was just kind of thinking to myself, "Oh yeah, I gave you a good shot." No, I didn't, because giving something a good shot is doing it for a long time.
Yeah, of course.
But obviously at the time, that was still good enough though, because even if you give something just like a half try,
Yeah.
that's more than what you've done before.
Mm.
And that half try might be your gateway, the opening
Yeah.
of momentum. They're gonna need to just go all in and think, actually, this is sick. I like this.
Yeah.
And you're just gonna go into it and just continue going and going and going. And by the time you know it, holy shit, I've got my own jewelry store now. Fast forward 8-9 years.
But that's again, it's that compounding tip, the compound interest. You know, when you talk about investing in things, you know, we might want the instant return, which you know in some cases can be, but then other times it's not like that. You've got to give it time. You've got to see it. Like say, if you watched it every day, it's like that, and then you've said obviously over time it sort of goes like that, but the line sort of goes up.
Yes.
So I mean, if we go back to even Dom before 19 years old, 17 years old. What was you quiet? Was you sort of out there? Did you always have this sort? Because obviously you're quite spoken out, like as in you'll say what you think.
Yes,
you're very honest. You'll say it how it is. Have you always been like that, or no?
Complete opposite.
Really?
Complete opposite. When I was young, I was scared to even say hello.
Really?
I was terrified. I would want to be in any setting. I'd want to be off to the side. I want to be in the shadows. I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be looked at. I wouldn't dare. Well, I was always just this quiet kid, almost like just this very, just go to school, do your best, always do your homework on time, go home, like, oh, that's just trying to be as good as I could be, and never try to kind of like get any attention onto myself. And obviously then, as I've grown up, as kind of like I'd say, once I started taking care of myself and wanted to become more, that's when the whole thing completely switched. But not in like an egotistical way. It's just now like if I'm thinking of something and I think it could add value to the conversation, or if I just want to crack a stupid joke, you know, or if I want to do something, I just go and do it or say it or whatever, or just join in without feeling guilty that I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't. Like, no, don't feel guilty about wanting to be you. Just be.
Yeah, I think that just being, and it's this sort of bit that we're talking about here really encapsulates obviously what we've already been sharing in this episode about, you know, the authenticity, just do it, being authentically you, not caring about what people think, showing up, being consistent, because you've been on the other side.
Yeah.
I mean, you've still done the work. You know, obviously, you say you did your own work on time stuff, but you've been on the other side where you've been quiet and stuff like that. Is there anything that sort of, if you look back at that old version or the younger version of Dom, if there was anything that sort of helped you think or be more like you are today, that was there anything out there that really helped that? Was there anybody that helped you become your authentic self, or was that just again, was it the gym that did that for you? Was it somebody that you work with? I'm just curious.
It was fitness.
Fitness got you out.
I would honestly say fitness was the pivotal point of my personality.
So it got you out a little bit more.
Okay. Yeah, that's when I started becoming more confident. That's when I started like becoming a bit more of myself. I wasn't afraid to just, you know, join in, have a joke, do something, you know, approach people, talk to people. I would say fitness has genuinely been pivotal for me as an individual.
Yeah, I like that because obviously I'm a big advocate and all that. Obviously, you know me, I'm in the industry as well, and I think looking after yourself first, foremost, human first, and the bit it's a massive catalyst for everything else. You know, it's sort of like lets everything else take care of itself, because obviously you're mentally, but also you know, physically in a good place. And obviously you've been in. I mean, you've been fitness now? How many years? You've been training? 10 years? Was it from 17 or?
Started my gym journey when I was 19, 20.
19, 20. Yeah. Brilliant. And what would you say has been the biggest benefit for you from being in the gym environment and changing your own
honestly, just the help of the mindset, just once again, because there's going to be times where, and it's also one thing that I've learned from the gym actually, is that doing the difficult things actually feel the most rewarding, and they make you feel the best. Because let's just say you've just done a shit shift at your work, 8 hours of you thinking, I do not want to be here.
Yeah.
You know, and then you go to the gym and all of a sudden the day's not been that bad. And I think that's amazing, because I've had those times, plenty of times, where you don't want to be there, you don't want to do anything, you're just going to go home and you want to relax. But actually, you're going home to relax is the worst thing you could possibly do. Going and doing something difficult for yourself is actually the best cure for that, because then that gets you out of this I'm in a bit of a downer mindset, because I've just been beat up mentally throughout the day, to now beating yourself up physically, but you're going to come out on top.
Because, the feeling after, isn't it?
Because it's that feeling after, thinking, actually, you know what, I feel pretty good now. And now I'm looking forward to going home, having a nice meal and just chilling for a bit. Now I'm looking forward to chilling.
Yeah, it's a bit like you've earned it in a way. You're giving yourself a reward, but also a bit of a, I could say punishment in a way, but a healthy one, you know. But that's really good, because that just got me thinking then about people that maybe have, like, say, a tough shift, or maybe in a job that they really despise. They just hate going, but they go just maybe for the money, or just to provide. Some people have to do what they've got to do. And then they come home, like you say, they wouldn't do something difficult for themselves. They just go home, drown, hide, get on the alcohol, or sit there just snacking, eating food, and just feet up, TV, mind-numbing, scrolling through the phone, TikTok, Reels, laughing at all this stuff, watching people going viral overnight and going, that's it, and then on to the next. And then what I'm saying is that keeps them down in that downer, doesn't it? It doesn't sort of lift them up, whereas what you just said there, you may say, God, the last place I want to be going after this day is to the gym or doing something for me, but actually it gives off the complete opposite feeling.
100%.
That's really good. I like that. We are getting towards the end of the episode, my friend. Epic. Love what we've shared here. This is a question I want to ask every guest, because I just think it's nice to hear, obviously, everyone's individual's perception of what they view it as. So, Dom, what does mastering your life mean to you?
Mastering your life. To wake up in the morning and just looking forward to the day, no matter what day it is. Whether it's a Tuesday or a Sunday, you wake up and you think, I can't wait to get started.
So, are we there yet?
Absolutely not, no.
No, but if you was to sort of, I want to ask this question, so obviously you look forward to the day.
Yeah.
This would be good, because you could maybe look back on this years down the line when you are in your vision. At this moment right now, what would an ideal day look like for Dom?
Well, wake up and work on my things rather than going to work.
Right.
That'd be ideal. That'd be the best thing. But obviously, when I said I'm not there yet, absolutely not. In a sense, I am, because I'm working towards it. I am working towards that goal, towards that thing. But it's just a matter of waking up and just thinking to myself, right, I've got to do this, this, and this, because I want to do this, not because I have to now leave the house at this time to get to this place at this time and do these things that I'm told to do. Is these things that I want to, instead of just thinking, I want to create this, I want to do that. I've got a call with a client. I've got to go to a meeting. Do these things that for you, for your life.
That's great, and that'll be something that you'll look back on as well years down the line, just sharing that, because you're living life on your terms. You're not having to go and do something for somebody else. It's doing it ultimately for you. That's really good, and I know so many people will resonate with that. I know myself, being in business, it's something that that's drawn me to it, is the fact that yes, you can live life. Obviously, it's stressful as hell sometimes, but you can live life on your terms. So look, if anyone that's watching this back or listening whilst driving or anything like that, and they want to connect with you, they want to find out where you are, where's the best place for them to find you or connect with you?
Well, I'd say my Stoic Dom Instagram account.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, we'll make sure, we'll make sure that goes in the show notes. But if people haven't got Instagram, I'm not saying not everyone's got Instagram. Where else can they connect with you?
There's also TikTok. There's also my business email.
Okay.
There's also there's also YouTube.
Yeah.
I suppose I've got a few ways they can reach me.
Yeah. Well, if you're happy for us to share all those in the show notes, we'll make sure they're in there. But look, final thing from myself and Ollie behind the camera. Thanks for coming on, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I hope that you enjoyed your first experience.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure, mate.
I'm on.